All right, everybody, rare treat today. We're going to try the Mariners Museum here in Newport, Virginia. The unique place about this is it has the turret, actual turret from the USS Monitor. They retrieved it off the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean some decades back, and they actually have it in here, and they have a full-size mock-up of the Monitor built by Newport Shipbuilding. But we're going to see that today. Here we are in this near the entrance, and this is the USS Monitor Center. Goes down that hallway. And you get this big eagle. You can see a lighthouse fixture going. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Check this cannon out, man. Look at that. The muzzle of a 9-inch Dahlgren gun from CSS Virginia. Pretty neat letter from somebody aboard the Monitor. It's an engine room clock. And when did the clock stop? Will it run? Who knows? That's so cool. Lantern recovered from the wreck of the USS Monitor. And wooden drawer from the wreck of the Monitor. These items are available from the museum, and you probably get them online too from the museum. This is like the actual soak tank for the turret. This is the actual turret. Alright, this is the soak tank for the actual propulsion engine for the USS Monitor. It's being restored through electrolysis, or 2 engines. Did you know that? Okay. Okay, we've entered the gallery, and this is a inside mock-up of what the turret looked like here for the USS Monitor. When we go outside here in a few minutes, we're actually getting on a full-size mock-up that they built by Newport Shipbuilding. Basically, what this thing did is it revolved around and around, and the gun was pulled back so that this hole would be closed, and when the enemy ship fired at it, they couldn't get around through this hole. You see how this thing was rigged? The gun would be in a carriage, and it revolved around by a giant gear. And when it did, the gun fired, it pulled back, and a metal thing pulled down across that thing. But all of this is just a giant gear that rotated it. Alright, let's go over here to this thing. This is what it looked like when it was retrieved from the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. And this is some of the artifacts that were found. And it is said that there were human remains found in it. Please do not enter. But that's what this is what it'll look like. Upside down time capsule. But that's what it would look like when it was retrieved off the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean off of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. You can hear the dripping of water. Even after 100 and some years worth of being on the bottom of the ocean, it was still intact. And the recovery process took place from 1974 to 1995. You see mustard bottles. Okay, man, here we are. This is an actual full-size mock-up of the USS Monitor, built by the men and women of Newport News Shipbuilding. And we're going to be able to walk right back out here on the deck. You can see the turret coming up. This was no small thing. It was not a dinky little flexible or fragile toy. It was a warship. This would have been the where they would have pulled in air. And as you can see, the replica was built by Newport News Shipbuilding. It was christened on June 11, 2006. I am not sure whether we can get down below to see scale from the bottom. I think you can, but I'm not sure. Okay. Remember how inside I was telling you that when the gun fired and pulled back, it had a plate that came back over it. That way no enemy round could get inside of it. Alright, back this way, the stern of the ship. You would have seen the flag of the United States of what it looked like in 1862. Alright, let's turn around this way. And this is looking from the bow. Not all the way back, but alright, as I had said, that there were human remains found inside the turret here. And these are the two individuals that were found in here, Sailor 1 and Sailor 2. And you can see the particulars and the possible identity of both men. And this is how they reconstruct the skulls. And this is some of the things that were found on Sailor 1. Gold ring, brass button, wool fibers, bone buttons, and artifacts found on Sailor 2, a comb, spoon, flying eagle, Liberty Head coins, a bit key, some shears. Okay, we're looking from the other side now. And this was a quadrant that you're seeing. And the turret was recovered in 2002. Civil War reenactors escorting the Monitor's turret into its new home. Manners Museum, Newport News, Virginia, right where we're standing. And there is the famous red lantern, and it was recovered from the bottom of the ocean. And I think you will see that in here very shortly. Anchors. And some canes. timeline of what led up to the Great Battle. And this is the ship's wheel from the CSS Virginia, sometimes called the Merrimack. And their names are history. 47 men were rescued from the Monitor before she split beneath the waves. 16 were lost, either washed overboard while trying to reach the rescue boats or trapped inside the foundering vessel. And this was January 24th, 1863. And these are the names. Natural light aboard the Monitor. Artificial light in the USS Monitor. Okay, man. And this is what it would have looked like in the insides of this place. In the captain's stateroom. Pilot house and anchor room chain. And a bunk. And the captain's head. Commanders after working, last commanders. Wash basin. Alright, welcome to sick bay aboard the USS Monitor.
Pen, ink, and paper.
William Keller's cabin.
These bright, pleasant mornings, I am up at 6:30. Pace our iron pavement till 8 when I go down to breakfast.
All you Navy folks,
Our morning New York
Marine
papers
personnel,
of the previous day are brought down and their contents
apothecary
digested
bottles,
with our coffee.
medicine cabinet from
Papers are well digested.
150 some years ago.
Dispatched for the mail, which is the great event of the day. Lunch at 12, a whiskey and crackers, which I don't partake, but I'm sorry to say, all the rest do.
Alright, this is an Erickson type screw propeller, circa 1845. Alright, and here's a model. Armor belt. You remember when we were outside, we saw that little air thing, the turret. The stern of the ship. More air holes. I'll give you two little figurines to give you perspective. And there is a timeline of the build. Remember earlier in the video we showed the kind of big screw thing that kind of rotated for the turret, the engines, the rudder, front of the ship, anchor bay. Alright, what we have here is a quarter mock-up of the Confederate States ship Virginia, Merrimack. And this is what it looked like on the outside. And this is a model of it. But we're actually going to be able to walk right up in there. There's the cannon ports. And that's what the side of the ship would look like. You can see the model up there, kind of demonstrating for size and scale. We're going to go up onto this little mock-up of the CSS Virginia and/or Merrimack. You can see the thickness of the walls. Gun carriage. You can see the size of the gun. Man, can you imagine the weight? Alright, you can see the tracks, which the guns would have been able to move around on. Looking out a turret. Check these old woodworking tools out. Chain. Anybody need a wrench? There's your anchor port. Alright, for those of you that are familiar with the Hampton and Newport News of this era, it was called Warwick County for Newport News and Elizabeth City County for Hampton. You see Big Bethel, Lee's Mill, and go up the James until you get to Richmond. Alright, this is coal bay. This would have been your boilers. Alright, remember we were up there above, and you saw how the turret was rotated. You see the guns. Big giant wheel. Some serious gear. Alright, and this is the anchor for the USS Monitor. Alright, a few artifacts. Some exhaust manifolds. Copper pipes. Yeah. Engine room gone. Here we are outside on the bottom side of the full-size mock-up of the Monitor. You can see the propeller, stern of the vessel. Like I said, this was no small thing. And this flat portion was what was on the water, and then this stayed underneath the water. Alright. Remember we were up top there a little while ago. There's your turret. It's a really hot day here. Alright, we're walking up toward the bow of the vessel, and you'll be able to see the anchor. You can see how the anchor put it up in there. Bow of the ship. And there's your propeller shaft. Alright, that big outside mock-up. These are the names of the people that built it. And it was done by the U.S. Navy Supervisor Shipbuilding, Newport News Shipbuilding, Northrop Grumman. Maybe you guys know some of these people. I worked in the shipyard for, I don't know, about 2 or 3 years. Monitor bulkhead sponsors. I'll pause it for a second, that way you can use the technology you have at your house to enlarge the names. Alright, well, if you're ever in Newport News, Virginia, come up here and see the USS Monitor Center. And this is just a portion of what's inside of here. There's a whole section that is dedicated to wooden sailing vessels and everything like that. And definitely a friendly, cool, air-conditioned place. Helpful folks. Alright, be seeing you. Alright, what I'm about to show you is the first order lens operating mechanism, 1895s, from the Cape Charles Lighthouse in Virginia. And it was made by F. Barbier Company, Paris, France, and gifted to the U.S. Coast Guard. It's a Fresnel lens used at Cape Charles from 1895 to 1963, and produced a concentrated beam of light which was visible up to 20 miles at sea. Hey everybody, thank you for watching this video on the USS Monitor. Pretty cool stuff, man. If you're the history nut and nautical enthusiast and stuff like that, pretty neat place to see. And we just did touch a little piece of everything that's over there at the Mariners Museum. In any event, I picked up a hat, and it is the Mariners Museum USS Monitor Center, and I'd like to give this to somebody. So if you pick a number between 1 and 100, closest without going over, and do it in the first 24 hours once this video gets posted. If you live in Canada, the United States, or the UK, I can send this to you. So, like I said, okay, pick a number between 1 and 100, closest number without going over, and if there's a tie, I'll get you a second hat. But or get a second hat for the second person. In any event, you know what to do. Alright, thank you guys.